let's talk about second interviews, Chuck. How is a second interview different from the first interview?
The second interview needs to be less one-sided than the first interview. First interviews should be about what you're looking for, and then secondarily about why the candidate would want to work there. You can start selling kind of in the first interview. The second interview really needs to get down to uncovering and laying on the table. I have a colleague that likes to say open kimono.
Mm-hmm.
It really lets people know exactly who you are and what your company is about and where you're going and who they are. Because now you're really getting down to it, and you want to be as open and honest as you can about all the aspects of the job. Not that you have been lying in the past, but you're definitely, both sides are putting their best foot forward in the first interview.
Yes. It's a first date, right?
It's a first date, right? Second date, we need to address some warts. We need to know, well, we really think you're great, but there is this issue from your communication profile that says that you don't take criticism well. Can you tell me about a time that you were able to be corrected and it didn't hurt you, or how do you react to that? Just to get into that conversation, to get into more details about what the job's actually going to be and
mm-hmm.
how they would approach it. Oftentimes it's a good time to bring another person in
mm-hmm.
To have a part in it. I'm not a big fan of 2-on-1 interviews, but I think that serially you can have a sit down for a second interview. And by the way, I'd like you to meet so-and-so. They lead your team, or you're going to be working with them. So you start to get another perspective on the person from just your own.
I am a big fan of 2-on-1 interviews because then one person can talk and the other person can listen. But I also think that that's a good time to meet some peers. And, like you say, maybe have another meal. Why don't you go out with, these are a few of the people from the department, go out and have lunch, and again, maybe they let down their guard, let their hair down a little bit, and you can evaluate maybe more of who they are.
Right. And I think a lot of the times you can hire after a second interview.
Yeah.
Background checks and whatever assessments you're doing. So you don't have to go to 3 and 4
right.
necessarily if you've done a thorough job. But if I'm looking at a job that is critical to success, that's either a high-level sales position or something where I'm going to make a pretty big investment, I wouldn't shy away from a third meeting to just get it all out on the table.
And at that point, you're really talking turkey, right? Like, what's your 90-day plan? Here's some specific scenarios. Let's get working together. Let's actually try this out.
Right. I think that's exactly right. And people should participate in that. If they're not willing to do that, then that is a kind of red flag.